Marty had the passion and the love to care for children. You can just see the love carry over to our children as expected, but he also showed that same type of love and support to his patients and their families. Marty was from Newark, New Jersey, and he did his undergraduate work at Rutgers and decided to go into medicine. He finished his service. He was recruited here to Raleigh to start an infectious disease department. We raised 3 beautiful children here in Indianapolis. All 3 followed after their father's footsteps and went into medicine. They're all 3 doctors presently.
He was a very big encourager of education, and so I think the fact that all of my siblings are physicians right now, let alone pediatric physicians, I think that was this just passion that was passed along to us. My dad had just the biggest shoes to fill. I think that's how I would describe him, just because he was so successful in what he did. Just being around him, even as his own daughter, you just felt that he just knew stuff.
Our family's journey with Alzheimer's actually started long before Marty's diagnosis. His father and his mother both slowly die from the disease. Both older sisters had Alzheimer's.
Being with him when he was with a patient and him repeating questions, and that was the first time that I realized that it was impacting his job. And I knew I was very sensitive to it, and that the patients probably it didn't faze them. That was another big point in his journey.
I remember quite well sitting in that consultation room, and the children and I all knew what we were going to hear. Dr. Kleiman, you have Alzheimer's. I would say 6 months, his memory began to progressively worsen. At that time, I felt like I was trying to keep my head above water. To this day, I believe that if it weren't for my faith in God and lots of prayers, support from my family and the Alzheimer's Association, it helped me become a better caregiver. From the start, I attended some of the support groups for the caregivers, and I picked up some good tips, and we were all so supportive of each other, and I enjoyed that. I have used their online database when I was looking for adult daycare centers. They have a huge list of community resources available online, and they have all connected, and this is an interactive array of tools where caregivers can share different tips and what worked for them. A couple times I utilized their 24-hour hotline when it came to having to take the car away from him. It was very supportive and understanding, and by the time I hung up, I really felt that I could actually do this. And over the past few months, I could see a huge change in him. He wandered outside the house, and so I constantly had to be right with him. He passed out, landed on his head. The children and I had to make the most difficult decision in our lives, and that was to admit that he finally needed to be placed in a memory care facility. He is at Story Cottage. It's a small memory care group home, and it is a blessing that he's there. He got to meet his granddaughter for the first time. He couldn't process that he was now a grandpa, but he baby talked her. "Oh, aren't you sweet, little thing?" We were sitting singing songs, Frank Sinatra songs with him, and as he was pacing around the table, and without me knowing, he came behind me, put his arms around me, and as I looked up, he said, "I love you."
seeing what my dad's gone through, I would never want Reese to go through that same journey for her.
There are thousands and thousands of stories just like mine, and we're all yearning for a cure. I still have periods of loneliness and wish that he could enjoy this happy time with our granddaughter. But we will, as a family, carry on those happy memories and continue on with his legacy.